Welcome to our countdown of the 15 best survival games you need to play. Survival games have evolved far beyond just hunger, thirst, and shelter. Now they challenge your creativity, strategy, and even morality. From building interstellar bases to surviving frozen apocalypses, this list has something for every type of survival game. So grab your gear, prepare for danger, and let's dive in.
Forever Skies. If you've ever wanted a survival game set high above the clouds in a ruined sci-fi Earth, Forever Skies delivers a fresh and atmospheric take on the genre. Developed by Far From Home, Forever Skies takes place on a planet devastated by ecological collapse, where the surface is buried beneath a toxic dust ocean and humanity has long since fled to orbit. You return as a lone scientist ascending back to Earth. Not to conquer it, but to understand what went wrong and search for a cure to save humanity. Your main base isn't on land, it's an airship. You build, expand, and pilot a fully customizable flying vessel that acts as your shelter, laboratory, storage, and transport all in one. Every module you add changes how you survive, from research stations to engines and living quarters. Exploration happens vertically instead of horizontally. You drift between the tops of ruined skyscrapers poking through the clouds, abandoned towers, and remnants of a lost civilization, scavenging technology and studying strange mutated ecosystems that evolved in humanity's absence. Survival revolves around science and adaptation. You analyze pathogens, craft tools, purify resources, and upgrade your airship to travel farther into dangerous atmospheric zones filled with storms and hazards. What makes Forever Skies stand out is its mood. Quiet, lonely, and reflective. The endless cloud ocean, broken megastructures, and distant lightning create a haunting sense of isolation rarely seen in survival games. Forever Skies delivers survival through exploration, discovery, and rebuilding knowledge rather than brute force. If you want a survival game that feels unique, thoughtful, and visually striking, this is absolutely one you need to play.
Grounded survival. But you're the size of an ant if you've ever wondered what survival would feel like from a bug's perspective. Grounded delivers exactly that, and it's way more intense than it sounds. Developed by Obsidian Entertainment, this game shrinks you down to microscopic size and drops you into a suburban backyard that suddenly feels like a massive wilderness. Blades of grass become towering trees, puddles turn into lakes, and everyday insects become terrifying predators. You'll go, survive, craft, and uncover the mystery behind why you were miniaturized. You'll gather resources like plant fibers, sap, and insect parts to build weapons, armor, and bases. Combat is surprisingly strategic. You'll need to learn enemy patterns, block attacks, and prepare carefully before facing spiders, which are basically boss fights every time. What makes Grounded stand out is its mix of creativity and tension. 1 minute, you're building a cozy base inside a soda can, and the next you're running for your life from a wolf spider at night dot. IT also shines into your eye. Exploring the backyard with friends makes the world feel alive, chaotic, and honestly hilarious when everything goes wrong. If you want a survival game that feels fresh, imaginative, and genuinely dangerous in a totally unique way, Grounded is a must-play.
Enshrouded. If you're looking for a survival game that blends deep exploration, RPG progression, and incredible building freedom, Enshrouded is one of the most ambitious survival worlds you can dive into right now. Developed by Keen Games, Enshrouded takes place in the fallen kingdom of Embervale, a once great civilization destroyed by a mysterious magical fog known as the Shroud. You play as a Flameborn, a survivor awakened long after the world collapsed. Your goal isn't just survival. It's reclaiming a lost world buried under corruption, ruins, and ancient magic. Exploration in Enshrouded is massive and vertical. You glide across valleys, climb ruined towers, descend into underground cities, and uncover secrets hidden beneath the Shroud, a deadly fog that slowly drains your life the longer you remain inside it. Survival here mixes classic needs like crafting, resource gathering, and shelter with strong RPG systems. You unlock skill trees, weapons, armor, and magical abilities that let you specialize in combat, mobility, or building mastery. And the building system is where Enshrouded truly stands out. The voxel-based world lets you shape terrain and construct detailed structures almost without limits, castles, villages, fortresses, or entire towns reclaimed from the ruins. As you progress, you rescue survivors who join your settlement and unlock new crafting stations, technology, and quests, turning your base into a growing hub of humanity's return. Enshrouded delivers survival on an epic fantasy scale, where exploration, rebuilding, and progression feel deeply rewarding. If you want a survival game that combines freedom, RPG depth, and world restoration, this is absolutely one you need to play.
Astroneer, if you're looking for a survival game that's relaxing, creative, and completely different from the usual hardcore survival formula, Astroneer is a must-play. Developed by System Era Softworks, Astroneer drops you into a colorful, stylized space frontier where your mission is simple: explore planets, gather resources, and build your own interplanetary base. But what makes Astroneer stand out is its unique terrain-deforming gameplay. Instead of just collecting materials, you can literally reshape the world around you, digging tunnels, flattening land, or creating massive underground bases. Every planet is fully malleable, which makes exploration feel incredibly personal and creative. Survival here isn't about fighting enemies or constant danger. It's about oxygen management, power generation, and smart resource planning. You'll build solar panels, research alien technology, connect power networks, and eventually construct vehicles and rockets to travel across an entire solar system. And that sense of discovery is where Astroneer truly shines. Each planet has its own environment, hazards, and secrets hidden beneath the surface, from strange alien structures to rare materials that unlock advanced technology. Whether you play solo or with friends in co-op, Astroneer delivers a chill but deeply satisfying survival experience that focuses on creativity, exploration, and progression rather than combat. If you want a survival game that feels peaceful, imaginative, and endlessly explorable, Astroneer absolutely deserves a spot on your playlist.
Conan Exiles. If you're looking for a survival game that's brutal, open-ended, and packed with freedom, Conan Exiles is one you absolutely can't ignore. Developed by Funcom, Conan Exiles throws you into the savage world of Conan the Barbarian, where you start with nothing, no shelter, no weapons, and no mercy. You begin as an exile left to die in a vast desert wasteland. From that moment on, everything is about survival. Finding water before dehydration kills you, hunting for food, crafting tools, and slowly building your first shelter to escape the brutal sandstorms and deadly wildlife. But Conan Exiles quickly evolves beyond basic survival. The game features one of the deepest base-building systems in the genre. You can construct anything from small huts to massive fortresses complete with walls, towers, defenses, and entire cities shaped exactly how you want. And then there's the Thrall system, one of the game's most unique mechanics. Instead of just recruiting NPCs, you capture enemies, break their will, and turn them into workers, fighters, or craftsmen who help run your settlement. It's harsh, controversial, and perfectly fits the ruthless Conan universe. Exploration is another major highlight. The world is huge and dangerous, filled with ancient ruins, dark dungeons, legendary bosses, and hidden loot. Whether you play solo, co-op, or on large PvP servers, there's always something pushing you to expand, conquer, and survive. Conan Exiles delivers survival at its most savage, where strength, strategy, and domination define your journey. If you want a survival game with deep progression, epic building, in a brutal world that never forgives mistakes, this is a must-play.
Corekeeper, if you love survival games with exploration, base building, and that just one more hour feeling, Corekeeper is a must-play. This pixel art underground adventure drops you into a mysterious cavern where survival means mining resources, crafting gear, and slowly building a thriving base from nothing. Think survival sandbox meets classic dungeon crawler. What makes Corekeeper stand out is its mix of cozy and dangerous. You'll farm crops, cook food, and automate your pace, but venture too far into the darkness, and you'll face massive bosses and brutal biomes that test your preparation. The world is procedurally generated, so every playthrough feels fresh, and it's even better with friends in co-op. Whether you're fighting ancient monsters or designing the perfect underground base, there's always something to work toward if you want a survival game that blends exploration, creativity, and satisfying progression. Porekeeper absolutely deserves a spot on your list.
Rimworld. If you love survival with strategy, storytelling, and endless unpredictability, Rimworld is one of the best experiences you can get. Developed by Ludian Studios, Rimworld drops you onto a distant planet with a small group of colonists stranded after a shipwreck. Your goal: survive, thrive, and turn this harsh world into a functioning settlement. Rimworld isn't just about managing hunger and building shelter, it's about people. Each colonist has unique traits, skills, and quirks, and how you manage them determines the success or failure of your colony. Conflicts, relationships, mental breakdowns, and even romances emerge dynamically, making every playthrough a story you create. Survival challenges come from every direction. Raiders, wild animals, disease, and environmental disasters constantly threaten your settlement. Weather, temperature, and terrain play a huge role, forcing you to plan carefully for each season and storm. The game's AI storyteller ensures that no two runs are ever the same. From tense sieges to unexpected accidents, Rimworld keeps you on your toes while letting you craft a sprawling, unique colony. For players who love survival mixed with deep strategy, emergent storytelling, and endless replayability, Rimworld is an absolute must-play.
Frostpunk, **. If you think survival games are just about gathering resources and building shelters, Frostpunk takes survival to a whole new level. Developed by 11-bit studios, Frostpunk is a brutal city-building, survival game set in a frozen post-apocalyptic world where the Earth has been consumed by an endless winter. You don't just survive as a character, you survive as an entire society. You're the leader of the last city on Earth, built around a massive heat generator that's the only thing keeping humanity alive. Every decision you make determines whether your people endure or freeze to death. Resources are scarce, temperatures constantly drop, and desperation grows. You'll send workers into deadly manage coal supplies to keep the generator running, and make harsh moral choices like child labor, emergency shifts, or sacrificing the few to save the many. And that's where Frostpunk truly stands out. It's not just survival against nature, it's survival against human limits. Hope, discontent, law and order all become mechanics you must balance. Push people too hard and rebellion starts. Be too soft and the city collapses. Visually, the game is stunning, a frozen steampunk world buried in snowstorms, flickering lights, and towering ice-covered machinery that constantly reminds you how fragile life really is. Frostpunk isn't just a survival game, it's a survival of humanity itself. And if you want a survival experience that challenges both your strategy and your morals, this is one game you absolutely need to play.
Abiotic Factor. If you want a survival game that challenges you with raw realism and scientific detail, Abiotic Factor delivers a hardcore survival experience unlike anything else. Developed by Biscuit Games, Abiotic Factor drops you into a hostile, post-apocalyptic world where environmental hazards are as deadly as predators. Here, survival is all about understanding and adapting to the ecosystem around you. You'll manage hunger, thirst, and health, but Abiotic Factor takes it further. Temperature, terrain, radiation, and weather patterns all affect your chances of survival. You can't just craft a shelter and call it a day, you must plan, adapt, and respond to an ever-changing, hostile environment. Exploration is tense and rewarding. Abandoned cities, ruined laboratories, and hazardous wastelands are filled with valuable resources, but danger lurks in every corner. Every journey is a strategic challenge, forcing you to balance risk versus reward. Abiotic Factor stands out because it's unapologetically hardcore. You'll learn to read your environment, optimize survival strategies, and make decisions that truly matter. One wrong move, and it could be your last. For players who crave realistic, intense survival and enjoy a game that feels like an actual expedition into a dangerous world, Abiotic Factor is a must-play.
Ancestors, the Humankind Odyssey. If you've ever wondered what survival was like at the very beginning of human history, ancestors, the Humankind Odyssey delivers one of the most unique survival experiences ever created. Developed by Panache Digital Games, Ancestors, the Humankind Odyssey takes you millions of years into the past, long before civilization, technology, or even language, where you play as early human ancestors struggling to survive in the wilds of prehistoric Africa. This isn't survival with crafting menus and quest markers. The game gives you almost no instructions. You learn exactly like your ancestors did, through curiosity, experimentation, and sometimes painful mistakes. Figuring out how to use tools, identify food, or defend against predators becomes part of the core survival journey. You'll climb trees to escape danger, evolve new abilities over generations, and expand your clan across dense jungles, rivers, and savannas filled with deadly wildlife. Every discovery you make contributes to your species' evolution, slowly transforming primitive hominids into more advanced early humans. And that evolution system is what makes the game truly stand out. Your actions literally shape human progress, improving intelligence, mobility, senses, and survival skills over millions of years. It's survival not just of an individual, but of an entire species. The world itself is beautiful and dangerous, packed with predators like big cats and snakes that constantly remind you that humans were once prey, not hunters. Ancestors is challenging, immersive, and unlike anything else in the genre. If you want a survival game that feels fresh, educational, and deeply connected to humanity's origins, this is an experience you absolutely need to play.
Pacific Drive. If you want a survival game that feels mysterious, atmospheric, and completely different from anything else in the genre, Pacific Drive is a truly unique experience. Developed by Ironwood Studios, Pacific Drive blends survival, exploration, and roguelike mechanics into a strange, dangerous road trip through a supernatural exclusion zone in the Pacific Northwest. Your only companion is your car, a battered station wagon that becomes your lifeline. In Pacific Drive, you don't just manage hunger or health, you maintain, repair, and upgrade your vehicle as if it's a living survival partner. Every trip into the zone damages parts, drains fuel, and exposes you to bizarre anomalies that warp reality itself. The world constantly changes. Roads collapse, storms appear out of nowhere, objects float, and physics breaks in unpredictable ways. Each expedition is a run where you scavenge materials, discover strange phenomena, and try to escape before the zone destabilizes. Back in your garage, you repair damage, craft upgrades, and prepare your car for the next journey. New engines, storage, protection, and tools all expand how far you can travel and what dangers you can survive. What makes Pacific Drive stand out is its atmosphere. The lonely forests, abandoned roads, flickering radios, and eerie anomalies create constant tension. Survival here isn't about enemies chasing you, but about an unknowable world slowly closing in. Pacific Drive delivers survival through exploration, mystery, and mechanical care, where your vehicle is as important as your own life. If you want a survival game that feels fresh, immersive, and unlike anything else on this list, this is absolutely one you need to play. The Planet Crafter. If you've ever wanted a survival game that turns terraforming into the ultimate goal, The Planet Crafter is a must-play for creative survival fans. Developed by Miju Games, The Planet Crafter drops you onto a barren alien world with a simple but ambitious objective: make the planet habitable. You start with minimal tools, limited oxygen, and no resources. Every step of survival is a challenge. You must mine materials, craft machines, plant vegetation, and generate oxygen to slowly transform the planet's atmosphere and ecosystem. Unlike most survival games, your progress literally changes the world around you. Exploration is just as rewarding as crafting. Strange biomes, hidden resources, and environmental hazards push you to adapt constantly. Sandstorms, craters, and alien flora all affect how you survive and expand your terraforming network. And then comes the satisfaction of seeing your efforts pay off. Slowly, deserts turn into forests, toxic skies clear, and once dead rivers flow, your survival efforts create a living, breathing world. The Planet Crafter is survival with a sense of purpose and achievement that few games can match. Whether you're playing solo or just experimenting with creative solutions, the Planet Crafter turns survival into a journey of planetary transformation. If you want a survival game that rewards strategy, creativity, and patience, this is one you absolutely need to play. V Rising. If you want a survival game where you're not the victim of the world, but the monster everyone fears, V Rising delivers one of the most stylish and addictive survival experiences out there. Developed by Stunlock Studios, V Rising puts you in the role of a newly awakened vampire in a dark gothic world where humans have taken over and your kind has nearly vanished. You start weak, starving, and hiding from the sun, forced to hunt animals and travelers just to survive. Blood isn't just health in V Rising, it's power. Different blood types grant different abilities, turning every hunt into a strategic choice about how you want to fight and grow. As you gain strength, survival evolves into domination. You build a gothic castle from the ground up, crafting coffins, forges, prisons, and throne rooms while expanding territory across the world. Your castle isn't just cosmetic, it's your progression hub, defenses, and symbol of power. Combat is fast and skill-based, blending survival with action RPG mechanics. You unlock vampire abilities, weapons, and magic while hunting powerful bosses across forests, villages, and haunted lands. Each victory unlocks new technology and abilities, constantly expanding your survival options. But the environment is always your enemy. Sunlight burns you, holy areas weaken you, and human settlements grow stronger the more powerful you become, creating a constant push and pull between predator and prey. V Rising delivers survival with style, combining base building, action combat, and dark fantasy progression into one addictive loop. If you want a survival game where you rise from hunted creature to immortal ruler, this is absolutely one you need to play. Icarus. If you want a survival game that mixes hardcore realism with session-based missions and intense environmental danger, Icarus is a standout experience. Created by Rocketworks, Icarus drops you onto a hostile alien planet where every expedition is a high-risk mission for survival and valuable resources. Unlike traditional open-world survival games where you live permanently in one world, Icarus uses a unique session-based structure. You deploy to the planet for timed missions called prospects, and if you don't return to orbit before time runs out, your character and everything you carry is lost forever. That constant pressure makes every decision matter. The planet itself is brutally alive. Violent storms, lightning strikes, forest fires, predators, and extreme weather can destroy shelters and wipe out unprepared players in minutes. Even the environment is an enemy you must respect. Survival gameplay is deep and methodical. You'll hunt, skin animals, mine or craft tools, build shelters, and gradually progress from primitive gear to advanced technology. Planning is everything, because you can't bring much equipment down with you, so you must adapt and build fast. Co-op play is where Icarus really shines. Working together to survive storms, complete objectives, and extract safely creates tense, memorable moments that feel more like survival expeditions than standard gameplay sessions. Icarus delivers a harsh, atmospheric survival experience where preparation, teamwork, and time management decide your fate. If you want survival that feels dangerous, strategic, and constantly high stakes, this is a game you need to play. Medieval Dynasty. If you've ever wanted a survival game where you don't just stay alive, but build an entire life and legacy, Medieval Dynasty offers one of the most immersive survival experiences out there. Developed by Render Cube and published by Toplitz Productions, Medieval Dynasty drops you into a realistic medieval world where survival isn't just about the next meal, it's about creating a thriving village from nothing. You start alone in the wilderness with basic tools and no shelter. From there, you gather resources, hunt animals, farm crops, and slowly construct buildings, turning empty land into a functioning settlement. Houses, workshops, farms, storage buildings, every structure you place becomes part of a growing medieval community. But medieval Dynasty goes far beyond typical survival mechanics. You recruit villagers, assign them jobs, manage production chains, and ensure everyone has food, homes, and resources through changing seasons. It blends survival, city building, and life simulation into one seamless experience. And then there's the Dynasty system, the heart of the game. You build relationships, start a family, and eventually pass your legacy to the next generation. Survival becomes long-term, spanning decades instead of days, as your village evolves into a living medieval society. The world itself is peaceful yet realistic. Dense forests, rivers, wildlife, and seasonal changes that affect farming, hunting, and survival planning. Winter can be harsh, resources can run low, and poor management can collapse your settlement. Medieval Dynasty delivers survival on a generational scale, where you don't just survive, you create a legacy. If you want a survival game that's relaxing, deep, and incredibly immersive, this is one you absolutely need to play.
That's our countdown of the 15 best survival games you need to play. From frozen cities to alien planets, dark gothic worlds, and prehistoric adventures, survival games have never been this diverse or immersive. Which one of these survival games are you diving into first? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this list, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more gaming content.